Presentation: The Seven Magical Adventures of Jenai. The Quest for the Ancient Wisdom Map. A Journey Within the Universe and Universal Mind. A Life-Changing and Magical Adventure Education for a New Life Generation. Educational, Scientific, Magical, Mystical. A life-changing and magical adventure education for a new life generation. Rediscover the basic of life science through the world of visionary and mystical fiction. Experience life through different eyes and learn to deal differently with life in all its aspects and challenging situations. The practical application of any faith. Our story begins with Jenai Summer, 14 years of age, and a heroine in the making, sitting one late evening in the rocking chair of her father Matthias, who passed on 2 years prior. Going back in time and looking at her life being a magical adventure and having experienced extraordinary things, but is not sure anymore if it all was real or just an illusion and dream. During the last 2 years her self-care had declined, had to take care of the twins because her mother Ashani was confronted with severe back pains, and realizing that she had lost the magic. She was facing, experiencing and thinking about the planet Earth, being close to its possible last chapter of existence, and the potential change that could still change things around, which her father had shared with her and of which she wanted to be part of. Matthias Summer, a teacher in criminology, scientist and researcher, had understood that all what the planet and what man was facing was merely a reflection of each man himself. The external world was like looking in the mirror of oneself, so to speak. Everybody was screaming change, but very few individuals were able to realize this, and that the real change could only come through a different base, which he called the basic of life science. This needed to be an adventure education, especially for the new generation, and about programming the mind with a new base of living life in a harmonious way, a knowledge that was already within. It was about how Crystallia, the creation, body-mind, is built, how it all functions and how it is governed by indisputable laws. It would be easier for a new generation, not programmed yet with programs that had become the cause of the destruction. A consumer society based on an education of competition and comparing. Matthias had come to know about a 7-dimensional sacred wisdom map that showed how everything in life is interconnected and how everything affects each other. To retrieve the pieces of this map would be one of the major parts of that re-education, and as well, he was looking for the sacred archives, looking in a universal mind dimension with the Magical University of Life and its faculty members, the Magical and Sacred Council, representing the guiding force of the Creator, universe and nature, constantly trying to guide each individual in a practical way in the adventure of life. Seemingly encouraged by Maria Morrow, the messenger of love, reminding us about our spiritual inheritance, he did everything possible to complete this mission. After being tired of all the thinking, Jenai goes to bed and is woken up in the middle of the night and has a surprise visit from Maria Morrow, who only lived in her imagination. He had come to bring invisible ornaments for Jenai's self-made crystal tree of love, ornaments that contain stories and life-guiding messages. Still not knowing if all she is experiencing is real or a dream, she seeks help to assist Morai, who had gone through his back, and Niyama, her grandmother, representing the guidance of nature and maturity, who lived in the world in betweens, is invited. The crystal tree of love turns into an original crystal tree of love and becomes a magical orb and door into the universe and universal mind. Jenai steps through her fear of the unknown to go into this adventure to assist Morai with his back pain, seeking to get information about his healing journey and to share this with her mother, to learn more about her grandmother, to get back on the healthy road, and last but not least, to gather the pieces of the map. Dionyx, Morai's noble disciple, a magical fashion designer and Morai's chauffeur, comes flying in with the golden space carriage, pulled by the Hansas. Together they go into the universe to meet Ertos, Watiru, Viratos, Eratu, Talcon, Starmaze, and Spheron, the seven keepers and guiding forces of the seven dimensions of universe, mind, body, and nature. They visit them in their respective magical realms that as well portray the state of the planet Earth, in which they go through very challenging situations, but at the same time experiencing all the energy connections to each of the seven keepers on a physical, mental, and emotional level, and in every aspect of daily living, the positive contributions and the challenging ones. All this being a reflection from within her mind, represented as Kalimubanko, the governor of the universal mind, who doesn't like that she becomes empowered. The seven adventures take place in 1 week during a short period in the middle of the night, but each adventure, because it takes place in another time dimension, is as if having been there for weeks and months. Each morning Jenai returns, but stays confused if it all was real or a dream. But the information she receives starts changing her life and the life of her mother. After her adventures, she starts documenting for 7 years while going back and forth with Mariah Morrow to the Sacred Archives and the Magical University of Life, and in addition learning from the 17 Divanas, the keepers of conduct, representing 17 guiding forces of universe and nature. By doing this, she keeps on learning more about how to live a harmonious life and creates a new education for a new generation, the basics of life science. Jenai develops many connected productions and presents the information through the world of visionary and mystical fiction and investigates to get her information on the market. After she becomes 21 years of age, another great shift happens in her life. Still battling in regards if the things that happened and are still happening, if it is all is real or just a dream. Although all that she discovers assist her practically in her life, she is realizing that everything in her mind, the adventures and everything external, including herself, is not something real and forever. To stay awake and aware, she integrates these three powers at hand at any given moment in any situation, accepting, reflecting, and adapting, in order to not become a victim, and claiming that one's book of life is written by oneself or the Creator, and thus being His will. She discovers that as long as she doesn't 100% accepts how she is, how others are, and the world is, and everything that happens, that she disempowers herself and goes into the victim business. All external is merely a reflection from within the mind. She thus understands that all is just an illusion, with the exception of something inside of her, the soul, being part of Kandu, the Creator, and the audible life stream that connects to everything in the creation, for without this energy of light and love, nothing could exist. The deepest heroic act with which she will be busy with for the rest of her life is to get free of the identification with the mortal body, mind, intellect, and world, and to free the soul within. This would be the ultimate sacrifice, and she is guided by Morai Amoro, who became her spiritual master and teacher, in the end, realizing that it was not a sacrifice because nothing ever belonged to her anyway. After each of the 7 stories, the reader gets the opportunity to put together a part of the map through questions regarding various energy connections, mentioned in various obvious and hidden ways in the story. Connected productions. Throughout the 7 stories, information is shared in a general way, but that are all previews to additional productions that provide a further and deeper understanding and re-education of the basics of life science.